Dorice DeeDee Moore, a lottery winner's demise and a killer's plea. In 2012, Dorice DeeDee Moore was found guilty of a heinous crime, the first-degree murder of Abraham Shakespeare. Shakespeare, a man who tasted the fleeting sweetness of fortune, winning a staggering $17 million in the Florida lottery back in 2006. But his life, once touched by gold, ended in a brutal, calculated act. Moore was sentenced to life in prison, a fate seemingly sealed. Now, years later, she's fighting back, desperately seeking a new trial, a chance at freedom. Is this a desperate grasp at hope, or is there a sliver of doubt in this seemingly closed case? Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Shakespeare's story is a tragic parable of sudden wealth. By 2008, the millions had dwindled, given away, loaned out, or simply vanished. Enter Dorice Moore, a woman who offered friendship and a promise to write the story of his life. But this offer was a gilded cage. Moore swiftly gained control of what remained of Shakespeare's fortune, isolating him from his family and friends. Prosecutors painted a chilling picture. Moore murdered Shakespeare when he grew suspicious, when he realized he was trapped. The discovery was gruesome. In January 2010, Shakespeare's body was unearthed behind a Plant City home owned by Moore. He had been shot twice in the chest, his grave concealed beneath a slab of concrete. The date of his death was determined to be April 6, 2009. He was only 43 years old. From behind bars, Moore launched a legal counteroffensive. In 2017, she filed a motion for post-conviction relief, claiming ineffective assistance of counsel. Her argument centers on the performance of her lawyer, Byron Heileman, during the original trial in Hillsborough County Circuit Court. Moore alleges that Heileman failed to conduct a thorough investigation, neglecting crucial evidence that could have swayed the jury. She claims vital witnesses were never called, witnesses who could have challenged the prosecution's narrative. Moore insists that evidence existed, proving Shakespeare was alive months after the date the prosecution claimed she murdered him. She argues that Heileman should have challenged the admissibility of prejudicial statements that poisoned the jury's perception. She further accuses the prosecution of misconduct, alleging manipulation of evidence and the use of false testimony. Moore claims her lawyer should have blocked highly prejudicial statements from a detective, statements that sealed her fate. Moore contends that Heileman failed to present a reasonable hypothesis of innocence to the jury, leaving them with only the prosecution's damning narrative. Was this a failure of defense, or was the evidence simply insurmountable? Judge Michelle Cisco now holds the weight of this case in her hands. An evidentiary hearing was convened in Tampa, a stage for Moore to plead her case once more. Moore herself took the stand, a convicted murderer fighting for her freedom. Christopher Bolt, another of Moore's former lawyers, testified for the prosecution. He stated that the defense team had done nothing wrong, a direct contradiction to Moore's claims. Moore made a startling accusation, alleging that Lakeland police officers were taking bribes from drug dealers. She argued that her attorney failed to present two key pieces of evidence that she believes point to different suspects: DNA taken from the crime scene and the testimony of Shakespeare's ex-girlfriend. Miss Moore was a management challenge, Bold stated, painting a picture of a difficult client. She was prone to non sequiturs, he added, suggesting a mind prone to tangents and irrelevant arguments. Then State Attorney Andrew Warren vehemently refuted Moore's claims. He conceded that an evidentiary hearing was necessary on specific points involving blood and DNA evidence. But did this concession signal a weakness in the prosecution's case, or simply a commitment to due process? The case of Dorice DeeDee Moore is a labyrinth of greed, betrayal, and violence. Did she act alone, driven by avarice? Or was she a pawn in a larger game, a scapegoat for a crime with deeper roots? The questions linger, casting a shadow over the pursuit of justice. Was the evidence truly overwhelming, or were crucial details overlooked? Did Moore receive a fair trial, or was she railroaded by a system eager to close a high-profile case? The answers remain elusive, buried beneath layers of legal maneuvering and conflicting testimonies. As the court re-examines the evidence, the truth hangs in the balance. Will Dorice Moore be granted a new trial, a chance to rewrite her fate? Or will she remain a prisoner of her past, forever haunted by the ghost of Abraham Shakespeare. Abraham Shakespeare's story serves as a stark reminder of the dark side of fortune, a life transformed by a lottery ticket, only to be tragically cut short. His trust was betrayed, his wealth exploited, and his life stolen. Dorice Moore's story is a cautionary tale of ambition and deceit, a woman who befriended a vulnerable man only to allegedly orchestrate his demise. Her quest for a new trial is a testament to the enduring power of hope, even in the face of overwhelming evidence. The intersection of these two lives is a chilling narrative of greed, manipulation, and murder, a story that continues to captivate and disturb, raising profound questions about justice, accountability, and the corrupting influence of money. Moore's defense hinges on the alleged failures of her legal representation. She claims that Byron Heilman's inadequate investigation and presentation of evidence deprived her of a fair trial. But is this a legitimate claim or a desperate attempt to deflect blame? The evidentiary hearing brought forth conflicting accounts of the defense strategy. Christopher Bolt, another of Moore's former lawyers, testified that the defense team acted appropriately. This contradiction raises serious questions about the validity of Moore's claims. The alleged prosecutorial misconduct adds another layer of complexity to the case. Moore accuses the prosecution of manipulating evidence and using false testimony. These are serious allegations that, if proven, could undermine the entire foundation of the conviction. The DNA evidence and the testimony of Shakespeare's ex-girlfriend are central to Moore's argument for a new trial. She claims that this evidence points to different suspects, casting doubt on her guilt. But will this evidence be enough to convince the court that a new trial is warranted? The pursuit of justice in the Abraham Shakespeare case has been a long and arduous journey. The investigation, the trial, and now the post-conviction proceedings have consumed countless hours and resources. But what is the true cost of justice? Is it simply about punishing the guilty, or is it about ensuring that every defendant receives a fair trial? Is it about closing a case, or is it about uncovering the truth, no matter how uncomfortable? The case of Dorice DeeDee Moore forces us to confront these difficult questions. It challenges us to examine our own biases and assumptions. It reminds us that the pursuit of justice is a never-ending process, one that demands vigilance, integrity, and a unwavering commitment to the truth. Ultimately, the fate of Dorice DeeDee Moore rests in the hands of the court. Judge Michelle Cisco must weigh the evidence, consider the arguments, and render a decision. Will she grant Moore a new trial, or will she uphold the original conviction? Regardless of the outcome, the case of Abraham Shakespeare will continue to resonate. It will serve as a reminder of the fragility of life, the corrupting power of greed, and the enduring quest for justice. The story of Dorice DeeDee Moore is not just a legal drama, it is a human tragedy. A tragedy that exposes the dark underbelly of society, where fortunes are made and lost, and where lives are often sacrificed in the pursuit of wealth and power. The verdict of history will be determined not only by the court's decision, but also by our own willingness to confront the uncomfortable truths that this case reveals. A truth that forces us to question our values, our priorities, and our understanding of justice itself.